It's funny how this Gears of War Reloaded game has kind of come out of nowhere. There were leaks that it was going to be so-called Gears of War trilogy. And that point of the leak, it made some people laugh at Xbox, not knowing that Xbox's play is actually kind of like the Chick-fil-A play. I'll explain in this regard. Now you're probably wondering, here we go again, VG giving us, a food analogy with video games. Back in the day, like maybe 10, 12 years ago, I remember Chick-fil-A had a very strong campaign giving away a lot of free chicken sandwich cards. They used to give these cards. I don't know if you ever got them. If you're in the United States or whatever it is, you may have gotten your hands, if Chick-fil-A was around you, on a card that said, have a free Chick-fil-A sandwich on us. Many times people would go retrieve those sandwiches, but the moment you walk into that Chick-fil-A and you get a taste or an experience of their service or their meal and you liked it, it was now on your itinerary. If you were going anywhere and you're somebody who would patronize a fast food joint, a Chick-fil-A would probably come to mind if you enjoyed what it is that was served to you at that time. This is exactly what Xbox is doing on PlayStation. And they're doing it with the base bare minimum product in that regard. A game that is 19 years old in this case. In fact, they also did it with another game that's about 5 years old. Then they did a remaster of another game that is also, over a decade old with Oblivion Remastered and brought them all to PlayStation. At the same time, they're bringing new games as well, giving PlayStation users a taste of what their ecosystem has to do. And then they're bringing more new games that are going to also basically go ahead and compete and surround the PlayStation games. At the end of the day, PlayStation players are going to get a taste of Xbox's library. They're going to get a taste of what Xbox is offering, and they're going to have you're going to have to make a choice. It is this choice that's going to be very interesting for PlayStation games. I'll show you what's going on right now. Lost Soulside got a delay. The delay was pretty much to move the game to possibly a window where there's not going to be a lot of work coming in. And if you look at the release window coming, there's Ghost of Yotei, there's Doom the Dark Ages, people are still going to be playing the Forza, the Oblivion games, the Expedition 33 games, and then possibly maybe Xbox might decide, oh yeah, we forgot, there's another June or July game that we're going to launch for you guys. You never know what they're going to do this year. There's the Age of Mythology game, there's a Tony Hawk's game. All of these games, Lost Soulside was supposed to basically go ahead and dodge most of them, only to find out that this game, basically at this stage in, Xbox's experience, this is basically a cakewalk of a game. It's been retextured. It's basically been giving you online functionality, and it's going to be launching August 26th, while Lost Soulside is supposed to be launching August 29th. When you look at the calendar, those 2 days, in terms of their differences, is just weird. It will launch on a Tuesday. It will get ramp and buzz and, all of the noise. And then by Friday, all the PlayStation fanboys and the Xbox fanboys who've been talking smack to themselves are going to want to jump in a lobby to iron out their, little conversations inside of a Gears of War map. At that point in time, who's going to want to play Lost Soulside? That's a very interesting and a very serious question that actually has to be asked. And imagine if this trend continues with the multitude of assets that Xbox has just laying around that for the longest time has never reached the PlayStation platform. Do you know what's going to happen when this actually kicks off? There's not only the Xbox Game Studio side, ladies and gentlemen, there's also the Bethesda side. Does anybody even remember that the MO in terms of video games and the way video games are enjoyed on PlayStation by a select niche, the third-party camera over-the-shoulder games actually do have a presence here on Xbox that possibly they may be dropping on your platform pretty soon? Does anybody also realize that there are some games that have been sitting on the Xbox ecosystem quietly, like Starfield in terms of the Bethesda stuff, that have not yet made their way over into that ecosystem? This right here, ladies and gentlemen, is exactly that particular model where you give your, you give your, customers that you're trying to go ahead and acquire a taste of what it is that you already have and what you're doing. And then once they basically realize that you are actually about it, then they start to pretty much either partake more and more of what it is that you're offering, or they start coming to your own, place of business even much more. And I can tell you, ladies and gentlemen, if PlayStation doesn't have a way to respond to this, they're literally going to be a host for Xbox. That's what it's going to turn to. There'll be a host for Xbox because they've spent their time, their efforts, they've spent their monies basically trying to acquire these third-party games. And to be very honest, a lot of the games that Xbox has are legacy games. Legacy games. When I say legacy games, I'm talking about when you say the name, people will understand. Do y'all remember the Icarus video by Colin Moriarty? Do you know what he said? He said when Xbox was running its console business, it could not acquire a lot of these different games and diverse titles that PlayStation could get their hands on. So all Xbox did was Halo, Gears, and Forza. Do y'all remember that video? Halo, Gears, and Forza. Halo, Gears, and Forza. It is this Halo, Gears, and Forza that PlayStation users are now looking forward to. They're talking about it. They're like, oh, your games are going to finally come to our ecosystem. Ha 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 ha. Not realizing that this game called Gears of War Reloaded is not only going to go ahead and lock in Lost Soul Aside, but the game Marathon is also going to have to fight for attention with this game sometime down the road. At every point, Xbox has a move to match PlayStation, and to not just to match them, but to match them on their own platform, especially with the kinds of games that Xbox has a plethora of, has been investing in quietly, games that have basically gone under the radar for years. This is a very different time. The gaming industry has flipped on its head. And I'm glad that it did. It needed a wake-up call, and this wake-up call has been long due. I've been looking at some comments. I saw a post here by Wolf of Darkness, who said, as a marketing analyst, let me go ahead and show you guys this particular post. It's clear that the gaming industry is changing. The number of consoles sold doesn't really matter anymore. Companies like Microsoft and Sony barely break even or even lose money on console sales. We know for sure Xbox does. The real money is in the game sales and accessories. Microsoft's smart strategy of releasing games on multiple platforms expands their audience and builds excitement for their ecosystem. This, combined with the upcoming Xbox hybrid with PC, Steam, and the growth of Xbox Game Pass, positions Xbox for significant success. Let's not put our bets on Steam yet. At this point, I don't know if they need... that's what I was trying to tell people, man. I don't know if they need Steam. But again, I'm open to, being surprised and shocked. Okay? Interestingly, Nintendo is the only company making a real profit in their hardware, likely due to its lower manufacturing costs. They've also maintained a strategy of keeping their games exclusive for over 30 years. I'm surprised to see some famous YouTubers complaining about Xbox releasing their top titles on other platforms. It's a smart business move, and Microsoft is definitely headed in the right direction. Xbox is here to stay and will likely dominate the gaming industry in the coming years. I told you that PlayStation said that they were already dominating. This is not even a conversation anymore as to whether or not they're going to dominate. This is basically us realizing exactly how it is that they're going to dominate, because that's exactly what it is that PlayStation could see. The whole exclusivity model had always been a ruse. Oh, exclusive, come buy our exclusive that we spent all this money making so that you may come into our ecosystem. But then when you get to our ecosystem, what do you play? Other people's games. So Xbox was like, instead of trying to bring you into our ecosystem to abandon your library, which you don't want to do, instead of you feeling like you've been robbed, here, spend money on our games. And gamers are delighted to do that. They keep their library. They play the games that they want to play, where they want to play them, with the controllers that they like, with the ecosystem that they like, and everybody is happy. Except, of course, if they want to console war and fanboy their way through it. Then they're not really pleased. Thanks for watching the video. Appreciate you guys' time and audience. Talk to me in the comment section. Peace out.